away we go. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. And here it is, a long time coming. My top 10 favourite zombie movies of all time. Now, I've been saying for pretty much since I started doing the horror on the channel that I'll do a zombie top 10, But I just have never got round to it because other things come up. And the zombie top 10 is a difficult one to do. Although it's not in my go-to genres, I still love zombie films. I really, really do. And there's some amazing zombie films out there. Some of them have been included in other top 10s, and like some of them have even been in my top 20 favourite horror films of all time. But now it's time for me to get down to the nitty-gritty and actually do my top 10 favourite zombie films. These are solely zombie films, guys, all right? These are not things like 28 days later, 28 weeks later, because to me, that's not a zombie film, okay? Because in those films, it's a virus called rage, and people are infected by it, and they're called the infected. So they're not actually dead, they're infected. They only die when they've run out of people to sort of like almost drink their blood off, like a vampire almost. And it's they're not zombies because they're not dead. Zombies are living dead. These are people that have died and have risen back from the dead and live on human flesh to survive. That's a zombie. So I've not included anything like 28 days later because I don't class it as a zombie film. Now, it has been difficult because there's so many of them that I love. There's so many amazing zombie films out there. So I've got a few honourable mentions that just peak just outside the top 10, but it doesn't make them any less than any of these top 10, but they are just outside my top 10 of sort of like zombie films, which is a shame. First of all is a remake, and it's Tom Savini's remake of George R. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, which he done in 1990, which is fantastic. I've just managed to pick this up, so I'm not going to go too much into it. I will review it. I believe I've already reviewed the original on my channel, so this is going to be a remake sort of review. I have seen it years ago and I loved it. One of the very few remakes I really enjoyed, because he sort of stayed loyal to the original, I think, but was different enough to be different. So that's an honourable mention. Another honourable mention is a completely different kind of zombie film, based in a radio station called Pontypool. So I couldn't really include this in the top 10 because you don't really see zombies in it. I mean, it's based in a radio station where outside the chaos reigns with zombies, and the radio DJ and a few survivors are in there trying to survive and give information out to people that are calling in. It's a really, really cool film. Really enjoyed it. Great film. But as lack of zombies, I couldn't really put it in there as a zombie top all time. But it's really, really cool. Hello, little man. You want to come up here? Little man's here. Do you want to come and say hello? Do you want to come on? Do you want Daddy to pick you up? Oh, here he comes, everyone. Here's the baby. Here he is. Look. Hello, everybody. Here he is. How you doing, mate? You all right? Oh, giving your dad his little wash. Sorry guys, I've got to have my wash, otherwise I can't make my video if I'm not nice and clean. So Sullivan's making sure I'm nice and clean. Isn't he beautiful, eh? Hey, absolutely wonderful doggy, ain't you, mate? Let Daddy get on with the video. You can sit up here. Do you want to sit up here? Come on in. Another honourable mention goes to a George Romero film called Diary of the Dead, which I really, really enjoyed, because it was sort of set out almost like a sort of found footage-y sort of film with like camcorders and that. And it's about these students making a film, and they get caught up in a zombie sort of a thing that's going on around the world. Sorry about that. I must be really dirty today. And it's really, really cool. Absolutely really good, underrated George Romero film, Diary of the Dead. I really enjoyed that film just because it took a different slant on it. And that also goes with the last honourable mention, took a little bit of a different slant on the zombie film. And it's called The Girl with All the Gifts. Now, this one was sort of like based with like the military have got these sort of zombie children, and they're trying to train them to almost be like soldiers, like an elite soldier group. And there's one girl that's learned how to resist her temptations to eat human flesh. And so that's the one that these guys are trying to rescue, and sort of maybe sample some of her blood to put into others to see, a little bit like 28 weeks later sort of thing, really. It's that similar, but these are with actual zombies. It's a really cool film, a bit different as well, really, really good. And it even stars Glenn Close, which in a really cool role, which is really good for her. I really enjoyed that film. So they are my 4 honourable mentions that just didn't make the top 10 because to me, they weren't classic enough, you know. I think all my films in the top 10 are all classic zombie films. There's a lot of Italian zombie films in there because Italians were, they went through an absolute phase of the late 70s, early 80s after they got over their cannibal sort of eating fetish. They went on to the zombie, and so there's quite a few in here, and we start off at number 10 with with one of them called Zombie Creeping Flesh. This came out under different names. It came out under Hell of the Living Dead, I believe, Virus and stuff like that, but here in the UK it came out as Zombie Creeping Flesh, obviously because of the success of another zombie film, which we'll get to a bit later. This is typical Italian. It's a very strange story. The story's quite well, it's just sort of out there. We've got this nuclear plant that sort of like leaks, and then people turn to zombies. We've got this elite force of like absolute, I don't know, could be Scooby-Doo in the gang. They're absolutely useless, going out to try and stop this sort of from outbreaking and all this sort of stuff. And there's like a family there of like photographer, and they all get mixed up, and it's really cool. But it's a great munch down horror film with lots of gore, lots of great sort of like gory effects, and the zombies look okay, you know. But it's a classic Italian zombie film, and I really, really enjoyed it, and it's great fun. Very gory though. The Italian ones are extremely gory, so be aware of that. To be honest, most of these are. And number 9 is its ugly sister. It's another Italian one, and it's called Zombie Holocaust, starring Ian McCulloch. Now, this one, it confuses itself a lot with a cannibal film, because half of it is almost like cannibal film, and in the other half it's like a zombie film. And this is about this mad doctor on this island that sort of create this medicine to keep dead people alive, to bring dead back to life. And Ian McCulloch and the crew all go out there to sort of like investigate, and they come across these cannibals that are living on the island that are feasting on people that come in, and that locals and stuff like that. And it's very gory. And then we see the doctor who's creating these zombies that also escape, and the zombies start attacking the cannibals, and it's a very strange, mixed up story. I think they didn't know what direction to take with this film. They just wanted to put out another zombie cannibal kind of film, and they did. They put that out, and it was good. I enjoyed it. Really cool. I believe I reviewed that on my channel, so please go and check that out if you haven't seen it. Number 8 is another Italian, this time from one of Italian's best directors, Lucio Fulci. And this is one of his films from the trilogy of the Dead films, and this is City of the Living Dead. He also did The Beyond and House by the Cemetery for the 4 sort of trilogy of films. But this one I particularly like. Really cool. I believe I have once again reviewed it on my channel. Really cool. I don't know what cover to use because that's fantastic. But then there's the classic cover, which is also amazing. Look at that. That is so cool. Brilliant cover. It's such a good film. Again, it's another messed up story. The whole trilogy is a messed up story. You've got people buying hotels. You've got this one with children that have psychic powers. They're all messed up, and they're all connected by this book called the Book of Enoch. And this one is one of the trilogy. I think this is the one with the priest in it, and they got to try and stop him, and the Book of the Dead sort of like getting sort of like overtaking the world. So it's a fantastic film. I believe Ian McCulloch stars in this one as well. He's in quite a few zombie films, which is really strange because when I see interviews with Ian McCulloch, he's very he doesn't look fondly back on his past. I think, but you've done 3 or 4 of them, mate. You know, so I think they've done well for you. You know, they've given you a real big cult status. You know, but there you are. That's up to him. Anyway, that's number 8. Number 7, we're coming to Britain, and we're coming to Hammer, and we're coming to the Plague of the Zombies. This is one of the classic films of theirs. I have reviewed this on my channel quite a while back, but on DVD from my Hammer box set. I've now upgraded it to Blu-ray, so I'm going to do a rewatch review on Blu-ray to give you like a review of not necessarily the film, the more of the upgrade of the picture and the quality of the film. See if it's improved. Of course, I'll give you a little synopsis and go through the story with you, but I have done it a long time ago on my channel. But I do need to revisit this because I picked it up on Blu-ray and I've not even opened it yet. Still sealed. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to look at this and do a recall review on it. That is number 7, Plague of the Zombies. Number 6 is a lot of people look at this as George Romero's masterpiece. It's the first of his sort of zombie films, and it's A Night of the Living Dead. This is a 1960s film, filmed in black and white. I have reviewed it on my channel. It's a sort of zombie exploitation, racial, dealing with ethics of racial in America at the time. It was dealing with sort of like rich and poor, like a lot of his films do. And this is a fantastic film. It's one of the first zombie films that we saw real sort of gore, but in black and white. But we saw gore. We saw zombies actually munching down on human flesh and bones. So it was quite cool, and it was quite eerie and scary. And it's based around these few survivors managed to get to this mansion house, this house in the middle of nowhere, and are fighting to survive the zombies outside. So it's a brilliant film, fantastic, classic film, 1960s, Night of the Living Dead, number 6. So we're down to the top 5, and number 5 is a strange one. It's the Burial Ground, or the Zombie Dead, whatever you want to call it. Now, people think, oh, why is that so high? This is a zombie film with the worst acting, the worst plot. There's no plot. There's no real story. There's no message behind it, no meaning. It's just, let's make a zombie film, sort of film. You know, sod everything else. Let's not worry with a storyline. Let's not worry with a plot. Let's just give them zombies. And that boy, okay? The boy. You know what I mean if you've seen it. The boy. Weird. I think I reviewed this on my channel. Please go back and watch it, and you'll see exactly what I mean. And it was a video nasty, I believe, at the time. It's just pretty much these guys getting munched on by these zombies, and the zombies are very slow. These are two. They don't run away from them. They just sit there like that. What do we do? Sort of thing. You know, it's crazy. It's pointless. Really badly acted, but it's fantastic. Absolutely amazing fun. Really love this film. I love it for its fun value, and that's why it's so high. Because not all films have got to be telling you a point. Some films have just got to be fun and just enjoy it. And this is one of those sort of films. And I think, yeah, I love this zombie film because of that. Because it's not trying to tell you or sell you anything, but cheesy looking zombies, another Italian classic. And it's got some great footage of their zombies coming out of the ground. Really cool film. Love Burial Ground. That's number 5. So number 4, I'm cheating. Okay. Because there's 4 films in it. Okay. It's a series of films. And it's the Blind Dead films. Now, these are Spanish films. Again, in the sort of 70s. And they're very cheesy. They're very, very the story, and some of the films they even use footage from the other films in it. It's like that, really quite cheesy, cheaply made, but they're amazing. And they've got some of the best looking zombies that actually look like that in the films. Really, really cool looking zombies. The storylines are quite cool. If you watch them a few times and really delve into the stories, they're actually quite good stories. It's about this sort of like medieval kind of knights that were that used to torture people and do all these for witchcraft and things like this. But then the locals got and killed these knights, and now they've come back as the blind dead and they haunt the locals. It's that kind of sort of film, really, really cool and different. I've reviewed 3 of these on my channels. I've reviewed Tombs of the Blind Dead, Return of the Evil Dead, and The Ghost Galleon. I've still not reviewed Knights of the Seagulls yet, so I will do that at some point. This is a little bit of a collector's item now. You could, it's been out of print for ages. You can see it's on Anchor's Bay, and it's never got any sort of re-release. You'll see why when you watch them. But yeah, they're quite collectors, and it varies from £50 to £150, the price of these sort of box sets. But it's worth picking up if you can get it quite cheap. I think CEX you might be able to pick it up for 50 quid, but they're great fun. They are in Spanish with English subtitles. They're not dubbed, so but that kind of adds to it. Like, it's not only the English language that suffer the zombies, the Spanish do too. Really cool set of films. The Blind Dead, fantastic zombie films, in at number 4. Top 3 now, and they're all amazing. At number 3, it's going to be a lot of people's number 1 probably, but it's my 3rd one, and it's George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. This is his 1970s outing to the zombie film, and it kind of takes off where Night of the Living Dead takes off. We're still under a zombie holocaust, and we've got the government not being able to do anything about it. We've got the soldiers not being able to do nothing about it. And we've got a couple of sort of like rogue soldiers meet up with this TV woman and like a cameraman who we call Flyboy, who sadly passed away in real life a few weeks ago. God rest his soul. And they all take off in this helicopter to escape it all, and they land in this shopping mall, and they sort of like hold up in there until the zombies break in and sort of like take over. But while they're in the shopping mall, they've got hold of everything they can get: food, clothes, weapons, everything. And then there's a gang of motorcyclists come along and spoil it all. And it's their survival in the shopping mall, and some of them don't survive it. But it's a real cool film, really good. For its time, it's so advanced, I think, in the zombie sort of film and horror films. It's very slow. I think it's well over 2 hours long, and it's quite a slow-moving film, slow pace, but it's got some amazing zombies in it. They're all blue, but they're fantastic, and the gore is exceptional. Again, the master, Tom Savini, does the effects in this film, which is fantastic, and he stars in it. It's a great, great film. Amazing film. Number 3, Dawn of the Dead. Number 2, again, this is going to be a lot of people's favourites, and I've put it in my number 2. And we're back to Italy with Luci Fucci's Zombie Flesh Eaters, which is a lot of people's favourite. It's an old video nasty. This was supposedly his sequel to George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. This was his version, like a sequel, and it stars Ian McCulloch, and it's very similar to all the other zombies. They go to this island, and they find this doctor experimenting on things, and it's a crazy, crazy world. But the zombie effects are really, really cool. The zombies then take over New York and everything, and you get some great shots of some great zombies and some great gore in the film, and you get, again, the wonderful Ian McCulloch in it. Zombie Flesh Eaters is my second. So my favourite can only be the one that I've always told you is my favourite zombie film of all time, and that's George Romero's Day of the Dead. I love this film so much, I really do. I think I must have watched this about 10 times now. You know the story behind it. It's got a significant story in my life. when I went to see this in the cinema back in the day, and it's stuck with me since. And it's one of the films that turned me to a horror fan when it came out, and because I was still quite young, and it's fantastic. I love this film so much. It really, really is an incredible film. It's based on, you've got these soldiers, you've got these scientists, and they're battling each other as well as the zombies underground, trying to find a way to survival. Well, the scientists are trying to find a way, especially one of them, the professor's trying to find a way to control the zombies, so they can maybe control the zombies, you know. And it's all this sort of stuff going on, and there's lots of relationships, sort of like confrontation between things, and it's a really cool film, extremely gory and extremely well done, and quite scary at the same time. So my favourite zombie film of all time is George Romero's Day of the Dead, and that is finally my top 10 favourite zombie films of all time. What are yours, guys? Let me know down below what your favourites are. I mean, most of you are going to come up and say zombie flesh eaters. You know, that's the predictable one to go with. It is a fantastic film. It is really cool. It's very cheesy. Zombies look great. Great kills. Story's okay-ish. You know, so it's great for a zombie film. But, you know, let me know what your favourites are. I mean, I've always loved Day of the Dead, and I always will. Whenever I watch a zombie film, I'm always like, not as good as Day of the Dead. You know what I mean? It's like that. I mean, there's been horror films over the last 20 years, like Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead, which bring a more comical view to the zombie sort of film, which I'm not particularly that keen on, to be honest. I mean, Shaun of the Dead was okay. You got the Zombies versus Cockneys, which was okay, to be honest. But I like my zombie film a little bit more serious, unless you just want an out-and-out stupid one like Burial Ground. That's my silly one. But it's well high up because it's great fun and it's great to watch. And this is the new 4K edition from 88 Film. It's a really good edition. All those special features, look at them all. Absolutely fantastic. I've not even looked at those yet, but I want to. I want to go through some of these. It's even got a Grindhouse version of the film on it. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Till my next video, check out some more horror channels. Check out Horror Hands, The Horror Geek, Man View Film, RS Designs, Pizzawell, I'm the Ice Lord, Cat Watches Horror Movies, and the amazing Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House. And a massive shout out to my lad as well. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.